Colleagues, His Excellency President Ramaphosa has strengthened our capability by recently proclaiming the South African Language Practitioners Act for implementation, and I actually think that proclamation happened last month, during the month of August. This law will build professional pathways for professional recognition of linguists, translators, interpreters, terminologists, corpus developers, language technologists, and language teachers. As language scholars, we will depend on yourselves to track the implementation of this particular piece of legislation and conduct further research which will positively contribute to the advancement of this crucial area of work. As members of the public and students alike, we must measure what matters by reporting on language access with the same seriousness as we report on financial performance, tracking reach, quality, turnaround times, and most importantly, public satisfaction. Equally, we must partner for scale because as government, we can't do this alone. We must work with universities, civil society organizations, traditional leadership, creative industries, and the private sector to unlock innovation and reach communities where they are through their languages and cultures and end poverty and destitution. Institutional transformation is not only about who sits at the table, but also about the language in which that conversation is being held at the table. When language of learning, teaching, and assessment, research, administration, and community engagement is widened, inclusion deepens and excellence grows. In research, African languages are not only objects of study, but they're also instruments of original scholarship. From law and ethics to public health, climate and climate adaptation, indigenous languages carry concepts that can sharpen analysis and ground solutions in lived experiences. In government administration, a transformed institution answers the phone in multiple languages, sends notices in languages of the people understand, and create feedback channels in community languages. The values of Batupili, people first, include the value of communication. And communication includes the element of engagement between government and citizens, not only for transactional purposes, but with the understanding that the underlying services are relevant to the cultural context from which language operates. That is not a nice to have, it is a service quality imperative. Now, I'm also mindful of the fact that I am preaching to the converted and that I'm speaking to a room of experts who do not need to be convinced on the need of language access. The legislative and policy frameworks are already in place. What we lack is not policy, but pace. We need execution, coordination, and most importantly, measurable impact. That is why tonight we also want to focus on how we can accelerate what is already government policy to achieve systematic transformation.